So good evening, and welcome to tonight's episode of Make Some Noise with Doug Jong. And tonight I have an awesome new cup because last time I dropped it and smashed the other one, the acoustic. So I've upgraded from an acoustic to an electric guitar, and this is compliments of Jake. Jake actually came around to my house today, and we may have done a guitar lesson. So we might have to put that up tonight. So here we go. There's the banner. So tonight we have some awesome artists from across the ditch with an Australian accent. So all the way from New Zealand. We have 5 female artists over there right now. We're going to bring the girls in. So please make sure you like and subscribe wherever this is, and please share it around. So we're going to be talking about what it's like to be a female artist, and especially about all what's going on in New Zealand, etc. So let's bring everyone in. So here we go. We got Ali. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, thanks.
Karen, Charlotte,
Hi.
Karen, and last but not least, LA Thompson. How you going?
I'm great, thank you.
So we've already got hey, that's from the USA. Hey Jenny from the USA. How you going? And Shane from Townsville. How you going, sir? That's a great idea. So if you are watching, please tell me where you're listening from. So maybe first up, LA, do you want to tell us what you do and who you are? Or I've just told you who you are, and where you might be from. So here we go.
Hey, I'm LA Thompson, performing recording artist from New Zealand, and I've been running a network of promotional platforms to assist other artists as well. But at the moment, I'm on a personal journey, releasing my album, Ali Cook, which you'll meet in the show very soon, from Key 2 Promotions, and Trees over in Australia promoted my song to radio last year. It was fantastic in Australia. And then through Chris Barclay, I've met Doug. So just really briefly, I'm a recording artist, promotional publisher, indie artist, designer kind of person.
Yeah, cool.
So thanks for inviting me on the show, Doug.
Okay, no problem. And we got a message from Jenny for you from USA to New Zealand. Hey, Miss Thompson.
Yeah.
There we go. And next up, we have Ali. Here we go. Ali, if you want to tell us what you might do and where you are actually from.
Yeah, g'day. My name's Ali Cook. I'm a recording artist from Aotearoa, New Zealand, and I've done my 3rd album, Caught in the Middle, which released in September last year. I'm also a publicist by trade. And I'm joining a bunch of lovely ladies here tonight.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you, and welcome to the show. And we have Kelly. Kelly is saying hello. Hey, Kelly, how you going, say?
Hey, Kelly.
And we have Karen. Would you like to run your intros, Karen?
Yeah, sure. I'm Karen Davey from New Zealand. I'm a recording singer-songwriter. I'm also have a band that we do a covers to a Fleetwood Mac. We're called Dreams. I'm part of a duo called Toucan. We travel the country singing, and I also do the New Zealand Dolly Parton experience, so that we take around New Zealand.
Oh wow! And welcome to the show. That's awesome. And we have next is Charlotte. Here we go, Charlotte. Hey, Charlotte, how are you? Are you there, Charlotte? You want to tell us
Hi,
what
Doug.
you do?
Sorry, I can't really hear you. The sound has gone really weird for me.
Oh.
Can you hear me? Because
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll come back. We'll come back to you. So, Karen.
Everyone sounds really funny. I think it's my headphones.
So maybe Karen, do you want to do your intros? We'll come back to Charlotte.
Thanks, Doug. I'm now based in Christchurch.
Wales.
I'm a singer-songwriter and have been a member of LA's LMM for a while, and looking forward to having a bit of fun tonight.
Yeah, cool. Thank
you
very
short?
much. Keep it short. Yep.
Yeah.
We have Charles watching from Wales. Oh, watching in Wales. Okay.
Hi,
cool.
Charles.
Cool.
G'day.
And so Charlotte, how's Charlotte's going? There we go. Hey, Mr. Penny. Excellent. That's Charlotte. Are you with us yet? Hello, Charlotte. Not yet. Okay.
Hello.
Do you want to run your intro, Charlotte?
Yeah, sorry, I can't really hear you. It's all
That's
gone
okay.
wrong.
We can hear you.
We
Maybe,
can hear you, Charlotte.
Maybe if you log off and log back on, if someone want to maybe text her that.
You can hear me.
Log-
Okay, well, I'll just say originally from Wales.
Doug, There she is. Hey.
Singing and rocking around New Zealand, Northland and the Bay of Islands. I do gigs. I'm a solo, but sometimes have people join me. And yeah, I love what I do. Love living here.
Wow, that's awesome. Welcome. So if you can hear me, Charlotte, maybe log off and log back on, and we'll get that sorted. So first round of the questions. So we might start with Ali. So Ali, you said that you've actually had your third record. So maybe what maybe motivated you to start this whole journey? And I'm assuming you play guitar. Maybe you don't, but yeah, just asking.
I do. It's a trusty mate in the corner.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Yep.
Aussie, Aussie, oi, oi, oi. Yeah, well,
Aussie,
I'm a
Aussie, oi.
Kiwi. I'm a Kiwi, but I spend a lot of time in Australia. I've built a career over there. I've always had one
Yes,
foot
Robert.
either side of the Tasman. I used to live in Townsville, actually. I saw there was someone from Townsville there.
Yeah. Wow.
During the 80s, I toured Australia working for Michael Edgley International and a variety of promoters as a tour coordinator. So I
Wow.
travelled with shows like the Bolshoi Ballet and Torval and Dean and the Russian Moscow Circus. And
Wow.
I kind of went over as a musician and then got lost in the promotions. I sort of thought, oh, I'll learn about the trade, and then I sort of got stuck there. And at 47 years of age, I went, yeah, I'm going to do my solo album. I'm going to fulfill my goal, and that was 3 albums ago.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So just recapping that. So you've started off in promotions, and then that's what
Yeah.
motivated you to
Well,
become an artist.
Yeah, I learned as a kid. I learned classical piano and did singing and all of that sort of stuff. So
Yes.
I went over as a musician, and along the way, I kept up playing with bands throughout the years of working as a promoter and publicist and tour coordinator.
Wow, that's amazing. Did you actually see Torval and Dean rehearse?
Oh my gosh, I watched the show hundreds of times. I toured with it. I
Wow.
knew Christopher and
Because
Jong
they were
really
ice
good.
skaters, right?
Every day of my life for a few months. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
wonderful ice skaters. You know,
Did
I
they-
just I love that sound of that dum da 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 dum da 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 da. You know, when Valero came. I would sort of run out to watch them do that bit.
Excellent.
They dance. They went with 40 Russian, Ukrainian ice dancers when I did that show. So it was a lot of people.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Did they stack it?
So basically, in a big tent, a giant tent, which I went to England and brought back after Torval and Dean, 10,000 seats with an ice skating rink in the middle.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Wow.
massive
what a story.
outfit.
That's
Yeah.
sensational. Okay, and we might go over to...
Crazy things.
And it sounds better when you talk closer to the mic too. And so,
Okay.
Karen, what started it all for you? Because you said you're the Dolly... Was it? No, Fleetwood Mac. Wrong show.
What started off with Fleetwood Mac?
Yep.
Oh, well, when I was younger, well, about 20 years ago, people were saying, oh, you really sound like Stevie and love your Fleetwood Mac. So I always dreamed of having a live band. And then in 2011, I managed to get a six-piece band. So there's 7 of us, and then we've got sound and lighting, and now we've got 4 crew. And we're out there doing it. I'm making all the costumes. We've got merchandise. And
Wow.
so it's pretty full on. We only do 1 show a month. We're sort of taking it through theatres at the moment, although we're still doing a couple of clubs if people want it at clubs. It's got bigger.
That's amazing. And so that's what you really wanted to do when you were a kid, starting out? Is you wanted to get on stage?
I always wanted to be a singer from the time I was 5 years old, and pretty much most of my life I was told, you need to get a real job, and singing's not going to really do anything much for you. You're not going to make a lot of money, blah blah.
Yep.
But it didn't stop me because I always wanted to be a singer. But it was when I was 29 years old that I got out there after having my children, and they were a little bit older, and we got into singing, and I've been songwriting since I was 11, and won a few awards for that, and it's just just taking its course really. I'm pretty busy musically.
Hey, Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, now.
that's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
well, and we got a question here from Kelly for Charlotte. So here we go, Charlotte. It says here, where does Charlotte live? Which town, please?
Is she a stalker? I live in Pie. Don't
Oh
hunt
wow.
me down now. I still can't really hear you guys. I wish I could be more part of this conversation.
If it's been a little bit glitchy, maybe try
Love
your
technology.
maybe you try your phone again if it's not playing again.
Oh,
That's
God.
cool. And oh, thank you. And what started the journey for you, Charlotte? Being a rock star, as in same as your name, or not?
I'm sorry, was that to me? I
Yes.
heard rock star. You could be talking to any of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Charlotte Jones is such a common name. I chucked the rock star in to make it slightly different. Not taking myself too seriously, really.
So, what kind of music do you sing? Oh my god. Okay, cool. Or maybe we go to
I can't
Karen.
hear you, so I've got to go on actions.
Yeah, or maybe do you want to maybe use your phone if you can't hear it? Yep. I don't know what's going on with the internet. It's really, really good at the moment. We got LA
it might
dropping
be
off.
very echoey in here. I'm
And
very sorry,
Karen,
people.
what started the journey for yourself?
Okay, so as a 7-year-old, I was at Tauranga Taupo Primary School, and
Yeah.
the only song I knew was Me and Bobby McGee. So I sang that to all the old ladies sitting on the deck, and they were all going like this. It was so cool. And that was the beginning of me becoming a singer-songwriter and actually journeying on my own songs. But
Wow.
me and Bobby McGee started it all. And you asked about what kind of songs we do. Well, I cover anything from Metallica to country.
Wow.
You do Metallica.
Oh yeah, I do a really, really good. Such a good. The Unforgiven. You have no idea how
Wow.
good it is.
I want to hear that. That's awesome.
Do you? Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, we will do that.
Okay, yeah, cool. So, all right. And if anyone's got any questions that is actually from the audience, if you're listening, please type it in and maybe let me know where you're actually listening from. And so maybe, I don't know what's going on with the internet. The internet's rather lumpy today, so I've got no idea. So maybe we go back to Ali. What's a rock and roll story? Something really embarrassing, something you cannot believe that actually happened.
Oh, well, most of them I can't actually tell you.
No, they're the ones I want to know.
The good one. all the good ones are non-revealable. I could get a bit more serious. I toured with BB King in 1991.
Wow.
And,
BB
as a
King.
coordinator. Yeah.
Wow.
He really set me up for the way I feel about my fans, because he, every night, the first
Yeah.
night that it happened, we kind of went to the backstage door with the tour manager, and he said, let them in 10 at a time. And I said, pardon? Because like in those days, there was no meet and greet. And there'd be like 100 people waiting at the back of the stage for a photo of him getting on the bus. And instead, they'd get filed in 10 at a time, and I'd walk them through to BB's room, and we'd have, this was after he'd been on stage, and so there's a man in his late 60s then, and he'd be there and Lucille in the corner, and I'd walk these people in, and
Wow.
the looks on their faces were just, some just burst into tears, some were just, their mouths were just, I couldn't believe
Wow.
that they were actually sitting, and he'd just quietly sit there and he'd go, would you like a photo? And in those days it was black and white 8x10s, you know, so he'd have a big stack of black and white 8x10s, and he'd sign, you know, to such and such from BB, and he'd get through everybody in the night after playing solidly for 2 hours, you know.
Wow.
And I remember going up to him and going, wow, baby, I've never toured with an artist that does that. And he said, he's got a big old voice, you know. He says, Ellie, he said, if they're standing at the backstage door waiting for a photo, he said they've got every album, they've bought every album, they come to every show, every
Wow.
time I play. He
That's
said,
awesome.
it's such a little thing for me to let them in
Yeah.
backstage and say thank you very much.
That's awesome
Oh.
as an artist to see the time and dedication for a super
Never
fan.
forget,
Yeah.
he said, I never forget my fans. So there's a story about looking after the people that look after you.
You have to.
That's an awesome story. Wow.
Yeah.
'Cause Mum, you
He's a
look so
wonderful
pretty. There you
man,
go.
Always beautifully dressed. Even in breakfast, he'd come out in an Armani suit. He was just very, very humble and very awesome. You know,
Awesome.
it was amazing. I met him and went up and, how do you do, Mr. King? Your bag's over here. And he said, oh, what's your name? Ellie. He says, oh, don't call me Mr. King. You call me BB. You know. It's like,
Wow. What an awesome.
very cool. It's a very cool guy. One of the nicest artists I think I ever toured with.
That's awesome. What a great story too. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And we.
Well, that's a good. I can't tell you half the stories, but that's one I can.
Oh,
tell you.
okay. Well, we'll start with a good one. So, who's
Otherwise they'd shoot me?
daughter's
Charlotte.
online here?
My
Okay,
beautiful-
yours. Someone's claiming your daughter. That's awesome. Hello, Christy.
She's in a
So-
band as well.
She what? Sorry.
She's in a band and she's a singer-songwriter as well.
Oh, we should get her on sometime. That's cool. So, how lucky are you? There, yeah, absolutely. So, over to Karen. What's a rock and roll story that you'd like to share?
Well, I'm a bit like Ellie. I've got a few that I wouldn't want to.
Ah, they're the fun ones. That's the ones I want to know.
Oh, well, I've probably got a couple. I was down at the down on the waterfront in Auckland, down at the viaduct, and a few years ago, and I was doing Dolly. I was singing as Dolly Parton, and some young people came up. They honestly, truly believed that I was Dolly, so I had to play up to it and just let them think it was me because they were just so besotted. And so, so I felt afterwards, I felt like I, cheated them a little bit, but that's actually quite a good story. And another story is one night when I was singing at a club, and again I was doing Dolly. I accidentally walked into the men's toilet thinking it was a changing room, and that was not fun. It was very embarrassing.
Oh wow. Okay, that's a. I don't know. We're playing musical chairs here. I don't know what the hell's happening on the internet. Is there a storm happening in New Zealand right now?
No.
It has been. Yeah, we've just had the tail end of one.
Because in Australia we call New Zealand the long white cloud, the land of the long white cloud.
think-
Because when I was
I
on
think
tour
there's
in
a full moon.
or when I was on tour in New Zealand, like it's the only country I've ever been in where you get two weather forecasts. One in the morning,
two.
one in the afternoon, and they were all wrong. Like everything was wrong. They said I should find up by this afternoon. No, there was a cyclone, and so I couldn't believe it. Okay, so thank you. Hey Veronica, how you going? So maybe over to Karen, rock and roll story.
Yeah, well, I don't have so many rock and roll stories, but I used to work on local TV up in Auckland, and I was in the background of Shortland Street, which is a program here for over 20 years. And
We saw it over here in Aussie, I think. Short.
oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I saw it by accident.
Well, it's been on for nearly 30 years. It's been on for a long time. And I used to be Janie in the cafe. And we were up
you
at
were
the
you were in it.
Oh, yeah, I was in it for years.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, so we're talking to a superstar, an actual TV star.
No.
Oh,
But yeah, the funny thing was I went to the fish and chip shop with my son, and these kids got out of, we got out of the car, and my car had tinted windows, and they'd been standing outside it looking, and I climb out and they go, ah!
oh,
And I'm like, what? And I look around to see who they're talking. You're on Charlotte Street. No,
oh, what?
Yeah, okay. So we went into the fish and chip shop and we got our order and we came up. They're still waiting. It was just
Oh,
funny. So there you go. I didn't sing on the show, but I was on the show.
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So
and yeah, well, thank you. I didn't know I was talking to a celebrity. That's good. But
no.
I haven't. Yeah. Okay, what about L.A. Thompson? What about a rock and roll
Well,
story for you?
I could tell you a rock and roll story that was kind of went wrong.
They're the ones
um,
we want to know.
it was yeah. I got given an opportunity. Probably I think I was in my early 30s and just got back into music in Auckland, and Triangle TV offered me some free filming above a cafe in this really cool venue up on Simon Street. And my job, as it is now, was to interview, the people that I invited to come to the shows and organise the bands to play and all that stuff. Same stuff I've been doing with, for the last few years. So anyway, I thought, oh, great opportunity, some free advertising for national TV. Media Works, yippee. So anyway, I was flatting with a couple of women over the North Shore while this was happening. And our very first show was lots of fun, lots of laughter, about a half hour. Apparently, I got called a natural when it came to interviewing people. We got to sing and play on the show. Anyway, I went home, and my flatmates, in their infinite wisdom,
Yeah.
said to me, if you keep being on this show, your career is over now. And I went, what? What do you mean? They said it was shite, So,
Oh,
well, it wasn't actually. I don't know the motivation behind their comments. It doesn't matter now. But as a result, the next day, this is a lesson learned. Do not listen to just one lot of people. In fact, don't listen to anybody if you're been given something like a gift of being on a TV show. So anyway, off I went to the producers the next day and said, I'm out. Don't want to be on the show. And off I went. That was the end of me ever being invited on national TV ever again. Because I don't know what I said now. I don't quite remember. But, I guess the moral of the story is make sure you get more than one opinion. Don't let one person's opinion, or even 2 or 10 or 20 people's opinion, deter you from your dream. If you've been offered something and it's a good thing, it can't really do like the show, right? When people ask me about Doug DeJong and they've never met you before or seen the show, I say, have a look at the show. And I tell you now, it can't do your career any harm. Now that's, instead of going, oh no, I don't know this, I'm not sure, well, I blew it back then, just like in the last story when you and I were talking. At 21 years of age, I got invited to start some Ray Wolf Stars in Your Eyes. And I proceeded to get very drunk because I didn't think I made it through. So I didn't make it through to the next level as a result. So the moral of the story there again is do not doubt your own abilities.
right.
Stay true, stay true. We're all great songwriters. We all have our own journeys. I mean, I'd love nothing more than to see all 5 of these ladies on the same stage with, all of us on the same stage sometime, performing our own music. Having it televised live would be amazing, but just even to have that experience for me personally would be fantastic. So I'm really hoping that I've been on stage alongside Karen and Kieran, not Charlotte or Ellie, but you never know what the future holds. So there you go.
Okay.
I put it out there.
Yeah.
It would be an absolute privilege and pleasure. So yeah, rock and roll. Keep it going.
So thank you for that. So if we go over to Ali, recording. What does recording look like for you? And do you do it at home or do you go to studios? What does recording look like for you?
Well, my first 2 albums were done in New Zealand. And so they were done with Alan Jansen in Auckland. He's best known for recording a song called, or writing and producing a song called How Bizarre, which was one of New Zealand's biggest export hits.
Oh, really?
And so, yeah,
wow.
so I did the first 2 albums with him. And then my latest album was recorded in Sydney with Buzz Bidstrup from the Angels and Gangajang.
Yeah, he's the drummer.
Yep, correct.
Yeah, I know Buzz.
Yeah, okay, you're in Brisbane, aren't you?
Yeah, Robbie James is the guitarist.
Yeah,
Yeah, he saw me
correct.
playing. Yeah,
I
wow.
just opened for them. I opened for them at
Oh,
Hamilton
wow.
Hotel in January and opened for them at Palmwoods. So I
If you
was up
go
your
round that
way.
way, no one can see you.
Oh,
But
wow.
anyway,
Come around here.
so I recorded with Buzz in Sydney, and it was really great because it was the first time I got to record with a live band in the studio. The other times it had been built up, you know. This time it was like go in the guys with charts and actually lay the whole thing down.
Wow.
And so that was a fantastic experience to kind of really create the vibe of 5 or 6 people in the same room. So, yeah, very special, my last recording experience for me.
So how did you
Because of
get that connect actually? Because Buzz actually he wrote.
No Secrets.
That's it. Yeah, I was thinking of
Correct,
stockings and
yeah.
shoes, but I was like, no, I better not say that out loud. But
Slipped off his stockings and shoes. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
done that
yeah.
one live with him a few times, actually.
so how did you end up recording with Buzz from the Angels and Gangajang?
So in 2013, I met Buzz when I went with the Sou'westers, which is a band of mine, to Gympie Music Muster and played there. And
Oh, wow.
I met Buzz and we got talking about Aboriginal people, and he ended up inviting me up to Mutijulu because he has the Uncle Jimmy Thumbs Up, which works with Indigenous children in communities, doing music and teaching healthy eating. And so
Wow.
I ended up going up there to Mutijulu, which is by Ayers Rock or Uluru.
Yep.
And yeah, so I now work with Uncle Jimmy Thumbs Up. So that was 5 or 6 years ago. I ended up playing at the Sydney Opera House on an Uncle
Wow.
Jimmy's function there with Buzz. And every time I came over for about 3 years, Buzz and Kay Bidstrup, his wife, who was also a founding member of Gangajang, we would get together and write songs. And every time over, I'd write 3 songs, and we gradually got enough for an album. And so they're my co-writers as well as my producers. And then they formed a label with a guy called Dave Nicholas and Sebastian Chase from who owns Metropolitan Groove Merchants, MGM, in Sydney. And the 3 of them have got a label called SBD, and I'm now in joint venture with that label with the latest album. Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
Well, there's a
So
question
it's
for
been a
you,
good journey.
Awesome.
Ali. Have you toured the States?
I've played in Nashville and recorded in Nashville, mainly the States on the way through to the UK and Europe. I've done UK-Europe tour in 2006, 2007, 2011 and 2015. So it's been a while since I've been there, and I imagine it will be a while before I go back there.
So you really are an international star. Fantastic.
Well,
Yeah.
it's just
That's
the
good.
way, actually, crowdfunding my albums brought most of that to me. It was people that crowdfunded my albums that got me onto festivals, and things
Wow.
happened from there. Yeah.
That's amazing. What an awesome
Yeah.
story. We'll come back.
You're
We'll
very
come back
lucky.
to. We'll come back to funding. That's a good
Yeah.
point. So Karen, what does recording look like for you, and what kind of experiences have you had with recording?
Okay. Well, I've done quite a bit of recording with with covers and rock and roll and country and blues and jazz and all sorts of music. But I've also I've had a lot of my tracks done in Nashville for a gospel album that I'm currently doing at the moment, and LA and LA Thompson and I are in cahoots at the moment with a couple of songs that we're co-writing. And so I'm really looking forward to that, because sometimes your ideas you can have a specific style and style and be the same as, but when you collaborate with someone else, sometimes you can produce something that's really off the planet, and you never know, you only need that one song to don't you?
Yeah. And so, do you have any, besides working with LA right now? Do you have any other recording ideas in the pipeline?
Yes, yes, I do. I put out an album with Revolver Recording Studios back in 1995, and Peter Van Gent actually was the engineer there, and so I'm going to revisit that and perhaps just yeah, the songs are pretty good. I won 5 awards from 5 of them through country music. So I'm going to just bring them to scratch a little bit and make them a little bit more modern.
Yeah.
And apart from that, I've got about 15 songs that I've written that I need to record as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, and with the recording, are you going to do it at home, or are you going to go to another studio?
I'll probably do the vocals. I found a guy that will do all my mix downs for me now and my mastering, so I can actually record myself because I sing the vocal and do all my backing vocals, so I don't need to rely on anybody else for that.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah, and then the track, and I've got my band that if they want to come in and put a banjo on, and Peter Strong,
Yeah.
who is a duo partner, he is an amazing guitarist. He's won the top musician award at the New Zealand Benny Awards,
Wow.
and I'm very lucky to have him as my duo partner. It's amazing. But he does guitar. He'll put a bit of banjo, and he even put bass on songs for me as well. So so I've got a lot coming up in my songwriting.
Yeah.
Really, LA has been on my case, and I'm just very grateful. On my case
Chased you around.
4 years about getting my songs that I've written out there, and so I'm really doing it at the moment. So I'm really happy.
That's awesome. And we'll come back to accolades because I know you've collected a lot of awards around. So I'll come back to that one. And Karen, what does recording look like for you right now?
Well, I have an EP that I've done that needs to be added to say, truthfully. So I've got a number of songs that I really, really like. One I've sort of got that I wrote last year when a friend passed away, and I think it's one of my best tracks yet. And it's called Will I Matter? Because, we all kind of think when we pass on, do we matter? And it's something that I really look forward to sharing with people, because even in the hard, I've kind of done it, at a few places, and people say, oh, I really like that track. It made me cry. It made me laugh. It made me do all the things that it's supposed to do. So I've got to get my ass into gear and actually get the rest of it done. That's all I'm going to say. There's no other words for it.
At least you're honest. I love your honesty. Okay, so over to LA Thompson. So what does recording look like for you right now?
It's pretty exciting. I've spent 4 years re-recording 12 tracks that were in various stages, unfortunately lost with producers. So I found a producer in Tauranga, Gavin Northcroft, to record everything with me for 7 tracks, and then we did 5 brand new from start to finish. I've just currently finished 2 new ones, which are due for release, one of them this week. So I've toured down. I decided to take Dave Dobbins' manager Lorraine's advice after having a chat with her a week ago. I had a chat to her a week ago, and I said to her, look, I've got 2 names up on Spotify and iTunes because I made a mistake when I first tried to learn to do digital uploading. I've got 2 names, LA Thompson run into one word and LA Thompson separate. So I've got 2 Spotify. It's a mess. She said, look, start again. So I did. I tore everything down just the other day, but it takes a whole month to get it off Spotify. So when you request a digital distributor who is making money out of your music and distributing your music, they want to keep it for another month before they let you go. So I've got another month to wait. But in the meantime, I went to Gyro Stream in Australia. I met the guy who manages it and is a salesperson at Global Summit a couple of years ago at Neil Finn's studios, Roundhead Studios in Auckland. And I've made a decision to find a new producer who I haven't decided on yet, because I've got another. Oh goodness, I've written over 100 songs, and I've only released just 9 coming up this week on, well, probably 12, I guess. There's another 11, so there's 21 track released for this year. Ali Cook and Therese kindly, I got them to promote with Key2 Promotions, Changed My Life, and that has been well received apparently in Western Australia. Australia had some great interviews, and I'm really looking forward to getting over to the Country Music Festival, Tamworth, hopefully, cross fingers, the bubble gets bigger. Martin, played at the Martin Festival here in New Zealand. That was a huge buzz, made some amazing contacts. So recording at the moment is me recording at home, building a soundproof booth for my vocals. I bought a MIDI, so I'm doing every single instrument myself for my next album and my next. But I've been told just do one song at a time. You know, what do we? It's true. You know, it's not about one-hit wonders. What do we remember about our favourite, most famous artists that we absolutely love? It's that one song. Quite often, you know, that one song draws us, and that's what I want to do. I want to create that one song that I get remembered for, or that people really resonate. And even though I've got some of those songs that are resonating, I just feel like there's something more in here, you know. And I'd like to produce it from start to finish myself and get someone else to mix and master it, and then that way I'm responsible for every single little sound that I want to hear with, and then I'll never complain at a producer again about, oh, that doesn't sound quite how I thought it would at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
because producers have to interpret what we, the songwriter, wants to hear at the end, and I can hear an orchestra in my song, and if I can hear an orchestra, I've got to create that if I can't afford to pay an orchestra. So we're very fortunate to have Logic programs, and I've a bit of an amateur DIY on Logic, so I'm hoping to be able to reproduce something that is audible for you all, and you can let me know in about a month.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, thank you.
I'm going to dive into the abyss again and give it another crack.
Very good, very good. I'm looking forward to it. And Charlotte, you with us, Charlotte?
Hello. Yes.
Hello.
Can
How
you
are
hear
you?
me?
Take 64. That's good.
Yay! You made it back. Whoop, whoop.
So, what does recording look like for you?
Well, I haven't really got there yet. I recorded 3 originals in Wales in my friend's spare bedroom.
There we go.
And
Wales.
yes, that's my sister.
Oh, hello, sister.
My
How you
biggest fan. Sarah, Charlotte's sister, that's what she's called.
Hey, sis.
And so I'm just basically still working on my writing. It's been a relatively new thing. But I'm getting more and more into it. I'm enjoying it more and more, especially with this lockdown and what terrible things that's been happening recently. It's given me the time to actually stop learning covers, because I love covers, and it's what I make a living out of. And so I'm really enjoying trying to do more writing. And so my next step is really to find that bridge from writing in your bedroom to being in a recording studio and getting those sort of contacts. And so that's me. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think that's great, because you know it doesn't matter where you start, you have to start, right? So I think that's really,
absolutely.
Really cool.
Everyone's
really
been
cool
through
story.
the rung, wherever they are, they've got to climb the ladder same as everyone else and put in the hard work. And
this might be a really obvious
exciting.
question. Oh, hey Therese, how you going for Sydney, Australia? So this may be an obvious question, but when you say Wales, do you mean in the UK?
Yes, there's only one,
okay.
Doug.
Okay, cool. So you're in New Zealand right now.
Yes.
So I'm leading up to my question here is, how long have you been in New Zealand, and what made you move from Wales to New Zealand?
Well, I came to New Zealand after I finished university and wanted just a year to travel. That's what I thought, but that was in 2006, and I haven't really ever left New Zealand because it was the first place I got to. It was the furthest place away from Wales. I wanted to see the world, so let's go as far away as possible. And I just loved it. I just fell in love with it. The Bay of Islands especially. It's just so soothing and calm and beautiful. Just natural beauty, and it's magic.
Oh, wow. That's really, really.
Wait till you get to know us a little bit more, us Kiwis. Some of us are smooth and cool and calm, and other hyper little bunnies.
I think after 14 years, I've got to know you all right.
Love it,
There we
love
go.
it, love it.
I choose and pick wisely. Who I hang out with.
Oh, right. Wow. So, okay, so getting Ali sort of mentioned this before, and it's great stories from all of you actually about the money, how to actually coordinate financing a record of some descript. So, yeah, maybe is that cool to get some stories about how to unpack that as an original artist? Because
Yeah.
you know, I'm a music teacher, and you know, everyone wants to go and record a record. However, there's two concepts to it, being the artist side and then the music business, which is a completely different bag that you need to learn how to master. So, just asking about, you know, maybe how did that unfold for you, Ali?
Well, picking up the story from where I came from, so I decided at 47, right, I'm going to put my debut album out. A bit of a late starter.
Rock and roll.
And yeah, how am I going to do this? How am I going to raise the money to do it? And I wanted to do it with a proper studio, and I knew Alan from some years before, and so I had done one little single with him, and I thought, right, okay, I'm going to do crowdfunding. So I became the 5th person in New Zealand to crowdfund an album. So it was
Wow.
like 2006 or 2007. And I did it on a European site. Oops, that's the album, Brand New Day. And I raised 20,000 US from 264 people from 17
Wow.
countries.
Wow.
And it
Hang
took
on.
me 4
Let me
months and 3 days to
So how much did you
the money
raise?
for them.
How much did you raise?
20,000 US dollars.
$20,000.
Fantastic.
Yep.
What kind of an-
254 people. So some bought just the CD in advance. Some just put in money, and I had one beneficiary who has put money into all 3 albums, and I've never met him in my life, and he put over
Awesome.
4,000 into that album.
Wow.
He's
Wow.
never asked to meet me or to know me.
Fabulous.
And
And
what?
he's just everything I put up, he's always backed.
So with marketing that, Ali, did you have like a brief of what the album was about or the art was about that you were recording?
No, I just wanted to record a debut album. It was more about the story, and I think that's the thing. You need to connect with people, so it's not. People go, "How do
True.
you do that?" I put up a crowdfunding and I got $20 in it, and I'm like, "Well, you can't just put it up and think it's going to happen. Everything in life is hard work." And this
Right.
industry is 10 times as hard a work as any other industry I know. So I had to work it every day. And it was about meeting people, building their trust. And then they go, oh, you know what? I'm going to buy our album in advance, or I'm going to buy a download in advance. And some bought, house concerts. So I went and played at their house at a barbecue and, different ones.
Wow.
So I did that album, and then that was with Alan Jansen, the first one.
Right. So just sorry, Ali, before you move to the next one, so what was the story that went with it? Because like getting $20,000 from strangers, that's really significant. Like, actually.
Well, they're not strangers. They're when they come into my fold and they help me to be able to make my music.
Like super fans.
They are like BB King feels about the people that stand at backstage for him.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are my family, as far as I'm concerned. Without them, I couldn't have done this. I couldn't
That's
have
it.
done anything without them. And so they're everything to me. So it's beyond it's beyond just the money. And what happened from this is there was a guy that was connected to someone in a festival. I ended up in Norway playing at a country music festival. I ended up playing in a country music festival in the UK. I ended up in a magazine in London. I ended up
It's
on
amazing.
radio
Alright,
stations from.
I'll just zoom in. There we
So-
go. What have you got? What have you got there?
So basically, it was like people felt connected to it because they were part of paying for it, and so they really wanted it to work. And so
Wow.
it's not the money. It's not the money. It's
No,
it's the people that care about you.
That's right.
Yeah, they're invested in it, aren't they?
Because I do,
That's right.
last week I spoke at Mains here, which is a music school. Like I go and talk at various
That's awesome.
universities around music universities. And like I say, one person that will back all 3 albums is worth 10,000 likes.
that's right. That's right.
Like, it's the person, the active fan, the super
That's
fan.
right.
That's
awesome.
the
It's a
most
super fan.
important.
Yep.
And then the next album, I raised €18,000. So I did that on a different site. That's Horseshoe Radio Hotel. I did that with Ellen as well. And I did those 2 through platforms. So this one was through an outfit called Celiband, and this one was also through Celiband, those 2. And then I did some videos on top of that. I did funding through Indiegogo.com. And then this latest album, I raised 12,000 Australian, but I did it
Wow.
on my own website. So this is caught in the middle, and Buzz Bidstrup produced this one.
Good.
And
So-
so I did this without a platform, and then I didn't lose the platform percentage, and because I already had a group of crowdfunders, so it was sort of like, why should I give away a 15% to a platform? And so, and in this case, I probably didn't work quite as hard because I didn't have to, because I'd got a label, I was doing this with SPD Music, so I really just needed to manufacture and market, because the recording was all part of my deal. So
Wow. So
yeah,
just a couple of things there. If someone wants to have a look at your artwork, Veronica, but just before we do the artwork, you've said two things. So you were speaking at a university, which is awesome.
Yes.
And where is that university based? It was called Mains.
So I taught. Yeah, Mains is the main music course in Auckland. So
Wow.
that's part of Taipatini Polytechnical. I think it's standalone now. And
Oh,
then
wow.
I've spoken at the Christchurch Jazz School, which is called something else now, Tarantera or something.
Yeah, right.
And then also at the music course at Nelson Polytechnic as well. And I've done quite a bit of that sort of work of teaching marketing to other artists and
Well,
doing
you definitely-
crowdfunding chats. And I actually did a degree course where they got me in to teach social media. That was like a 6-week course where I actually went, and I didn't have a degree or anything, but they went, oh yeah, but you were using it to raise heaps of money and you're doing, well, so
That's
come and
amazing.
teach others how to do it. And I was teaching 3rd year arts marketing degree students for 12 weeks it was. But so
Wow.
I like to inspire other people, and that's
Yeah.
a lot of other women that are older have looked at me and gone, you know what, you can do it. So I'm now 57 this year. So
Wow, that's amazing.
I think we're
That's
a couple of
amazing.
months
Yeah,
apart.
that's fantastic.
So 3 albums between 47 and 57. I think I've caught up.
Yeah, and crowdfunded. So you must be doing something
saved,
right.
saved up for all the time I wasted getting to the first one. But yeah, it's good. It's good.
Wow. I'll come
awesome.
back to, but we've got a question here about your artwork, and we'll go to Karen in a sec. It says, Ali, can you hold up to see the album artwork? Maybe closer to the camera, if that's all right.
Which one was it? It might have been this one.
Okay, hang on. I'll just put this up. Here we go.
That
Just maybe
artwork was, yeah.
Hold it up a little bit
So
more.
that-
There we go.
Yeah, so that artwork's actually a painting by a guy, Brent, who's in New Zealand. He's gosh, his name's just shipped out of my head. He's got works in the Wallace Art Collection, the real
Okay, cool.
version of this, sold for thousands of dollars. And then
Very
this
good.
is the artwork just of caught in the middle. I think I've got that kind of like, which is
Gorgeous.
just me lying on the carpet in Buzz's studio with the charts and my mini maiden,
Wow.
thinking about the charts. I think.
That's amazing. I need to pick your brain. You're a social media guru. If you can hold that kind of cash, that's amazing. It's amazing. So, we'll come.
Yeah, all that kind of cash. It's more the people, really. It is. It is more than the money. The money's
Right,
good,
and,
because it's
yeah, I
just
know-
a
I know they
fast
said
sold
it.
product. It's just CDs sold in advance, if you think of it that way, and some people chuck in something extra. Yeah.
Oh, awesome! That's amazing. So, Karen, how does meeting the market and converting your art into dollars, so to speak?
Well, festivals are pretty good for moving products. Go to. I've actually done quite a few festivals around New Zealand in my time. The Paihia is a biggie. Done Martin Festival, and when I take a band up to Paihia, I only throw in maybe two original songs amongst covers because usually, Joe Blogs, the audience, they like they like covers and songs that they know, but if you throw in one that is your own, and my response has been pretty good with them, with the songs that I've actually put in there. But I usually sell about 60 CDs at the festival, and
Wow.
that's really, really awesome because it's it also helps me to give the boys in the band some extra money as well. And I'm really happy doing it that way. But as far as marketing, it's like Ali said, it's hard work. It really is so much hard work, and I feel like I work twice as hard as even some musos sometimes. But
Yeah.
and it's not the way it is. But if you want results, you've got to think outside the box, and you've got to you've got to come up with keep refreshing and reinventing yourself all the time as well. And that's really important because when you do that, it's liberating. It's not only liberating, but it's helping you to evolve as well. And as time goes down, you get a little bit more wiser, don't you, Ellie? You get wiser, and you start to realise and see, that one product that you've produced might be fantastic, another one might not be quite so good, but but then you don't have to please everybody either. I've learned that over the years that if you worry about what everybody says, then you'll never ever get anywhere because you're just worried, and then your confidence will just go. Pew.
So you said something very interesting there about rebranding yourself. So how do you know when it's time to rebrand?
Well, you can tell by people's body language and the people that you are entertaining. If if you're watching your crowd, straight away if you've got them in the palm of your hand, and if you haven't got them in the palm of your hand, then you've got to go, right, what do I got to do next? I want those people in the palm of my hand. I don't want them just listening to this blonde Sheila standing up on the stage singing. So you've just got to keep forging ahead and striving for excellence.
Yeah. Yeah, well done. Yeah, I really like that about rebranding. Yeah, I like that concept. So if we go over to Karen, so what does converting your art into money look like?
I'm still waiting to find that out, Doug.
Okay.
At the moment, I'm doing what I've been doing for love, for the sheer love of it.
Okay.
And taking my music out and actually enjoying listening to the comments that I've had recently. I know I'm on the right track, and I know that it's not about money. Although money's really good because it will actually help me finish the songs that I'm trying to get done. But to me, it's all about the sharing of the art that I've created. And when I hear from somebody that my music has done what I perceived it should, it's all good. You know, it might be
wow.
my kids that make money from my music. Who knows? Because at the moment, it's not me.
Legacy. Yeah, wow.
That's exactly right.
You
Yeah,
will
but
be remembered, my friend.
Exactly.
You will be
wow,
remembered.
that's
So,
awesome.
you know, yeah. Who knows? I might be Elvis incognito.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. And what about and thank you for that, Karen. And what about Charlotte? How does converting your art into dollars look like for yourself?
Well, I'm making my money really just doing covers at the moment. Um, I have got some of my original stuff out, but like I say, I haven't really made the leap to really getting an album out there and um,
Talk to
even
me.
perfecting enough songs to get an album out. You know, I'm still in that first album writing and perfecting sort of stage. Like I was supposed to be on a cruise ship now. In
Oh,
February, I was signed up for a 6-month contract, and my agent made a mistake, and the job went to someone else. So at the time, I was just gutted. 6 months of work, you know, I was going to put the money that I saved for that with that job to an album that I was thinking of recording in Wales in September. And when that fell through, I was just gutted. But at the same time, I was relieved because it's ridiculously hard work. It does sap your soul a bit. But the money that I dedicated to my album was in that job. And it's just fate that this whole COVID thing happened. And I'm just so thankful that I am not on a cruise ship right now. You know, it just happened. So someone was smiling on me, you know, to make that turn of events. So I'm just going to try and keep doing my covers because I do love it. Like artists like Eva Cassidy that does covers in their own unique way, and
Yeah, they own
the
it.
Dolly
Yeah.
Parton, Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You sort of thing. I mean, I just love doing covers and try to do them well and maybe slightly different. But that's how I'm getting the money at the moment, which is fine by me. It's keeping me smiling.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And LA Thompson, how does converting your art into money look like for yourself?
Well, I've been pretty stubborn over the years here in New Zealand, and like even in the 80s when everyone said we only want to hear covers, we only want to hear covers at pubs and bars and cafes. Well, I dug my heels in and I played all my originals first. In my 20s, that's all I played, and I toured around New Zealand playing originals. Talking to producers, if you like my song, will you produce music with me, team up? And that's what happened. I met a guy called Andrew Bird in my 30s, and we produced 5 tracks. One is still really popular in the UK at the moment, a song called Divided. And I hope to record again with Andrew and Bristol in the UK at some stage if I make it back. Well, make it over, I should say. I've never been there. He's gone back. As far as converting my music into money, I made a decision that I wanted to help my fellow artists. So I started promotions businesses back when I was in my 30s. And I had an agency back then, and I did the nationwide talent quest in 2001, which used my own money. I tended to invest my own income from my own music, my covers. I went into covers late in life, actually. I didn't really get into covers until 49. And, that's like 8 years ago. I'm heading to the slippery slope, speeding towards 60, speeding along really, really fast now. Every bloody week goes a lot faster, I tell you. I'm sure you ladies are finding the same thing.
No.
So I'm telling I like telling people. I actually get a kick out of telling people my age still because they all look at me and go, no. And I'm like, yes. And I get a kick. But one day this changes, and you're I think the youthful approach, I think music does keep you passionate and youthful and not grounded all the time, which does help when it comes to how other people see you. Young and old and everything in the middle seem to love and dance and sing along to my original songs when I play them. I've got regulars out at Ha say at the poorhouse. I've been going there 5 years, and the young ones and the people keep coming back to Ha and they sing and dance along to my originals, which has blown me away. So I tend to play about 10 to 20 of my own originals in with 40 covers or something like that. But now I'm reducing my shows back down to 2-hour originals or 2-hour little solo gigs at cafes for a wee while. But I'm working towards a concert, and that concert will be a concert tour of my 21 tracks, my best of, if you like. And I'm hoping the likes of Karen Davey and that will join me, for that concert and play their own music or something we've collaborated on. So that's something I'm working towards to 2021. So musically, I would say in the last 8 years, I've made a reasonable amount of money to put back into the company to promote through live performing. I didn't ever try and perform 5-6 nights a week. That wasn't really what I wanted to do. I'm an artist as well, so I like to have time to do my crafts. And I like to have time to promote the compilation albums I've done. But now it's all about LA Thompson brand. And, you were talking about branding. I tried to change my brand, my name, several times. Because the talking point is what does LA stand for? And we've had that conversation before, Doug, but I won't go into it now. It's too long. But, yeah, I make a little bit of money out of the sale of my albums. People, la 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 la.
Licorice all sorts.
She's gone friggin' la la, yeah.
Licorice all sorts.
You go, yeah. Oh, hey, what was that really cool one someone said I was last time, and I really loved it. It was not a lot of. It was brilliant. It wasn't Ramon.
It's so good you can't remember it. So it's good.
But anyway, whatever it was, I want to find it and write a song about that one. It was. Something stood for LA, and it was.
Have you got a notepad, Ellie?
I got what?
Write things down.
And just to recap on making a living, I'm very fortunate. I'm on Bandcamp, and now I've been on Spotify for a long time. But funny enough, Bandcamp, you can pay what you like for music, and instead of people paying, you're talking about crowdfunding. I've had sponsors pay for the tinting on the Tahawai cabin. Put money towards the shed for it, sponsor me an entire native wood guitar build, which took me hours to build. That beautiful guitar. It's right here. Do you want to see it again?
Yeah, and I got a question. Yeah, we do. I got a question here for you from Alabama and USA. LA Thompson,
Hello.
Do you tour the USA?
I intend touring the moment you open the borders and the riots stop.
Oh.
Yeah, well.
And look, I feel for you, all of you over there. We're sitting back watching the news, really, really worried for all of you. I've got Americans living in the house next door to me. They got their visas just before lockdown, and so they're here living in the house next door, on the same property that I live on. So I just, thanks for asking the question. Do I? Have never toured in Australia. Would love to come to Nashville for starters.
You say
if
Australia
I can make
or
that
America?
If I can tick a bucket list, I would definitely tour America when the
She's
time
going
is
to tour
right.
everywhere.
Yeah.
What was that?
Okay.
I'm going to tour everywhere. I just want to take on
Okay.
the world tour.
Very enough. Very good. So if
yeah.
anyone else has got any other questions who are watching, please tell us where you're watching from, because I just learned that there's only one Wales in the world tonight. In UK.
Yeah.
But
Wales
so we got
in the UK.
So we've got people watching from all around the world right now, from USA and England. I've got
Yes, we
people,
do.
and obviously New Zealand, and I'm in Australia. And what have we got? And we have Teresa from. Are there any artists going to sing tonight? Well, maybe.
Going to
my
what?
place. Going
Does
to
she
sing.
want us to sing?
Alabama's the most dangerous state in the USA. There you go.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, Jody.
You know,
Hey,
we
Jody Vaughan
can
from New
tour.
Zealand.
We can
Sorry?
tour. We can tour by live streaming, so we can all tour America
That's
and
right.
the world by live streaming. So look,
Yes, thank you, Doug, for
yeah,
this has
let's
been
just
really
keep
cool.
live
Eventually,
streaming.
and got to hear you guys. I'll go and watch it now from the start,
Yeah.
so I can hear what you were talking about.
Oh no, that's all right. Top. Where's Top from North Shore? Is that in New Zealand?
New Zealand.
Yes.
Yeah,
All
not
right.
sure.
I'm from the North
Who
Shore.
is it?
Oh, cool.
I live in Oakland.
Robert Edwards.
I know.
There
So,
Cobb.
Kiwi women
Kiwi
rock. There we
women
go.
rock. John Blunt is speaking a lot of sense there. A lot
Yes.
of sense from John Blunt.
He impersonates Freddie Mercury. Very good at that.
Oh, nice.
He does
That's a
really
tall
good at that.
order. Bloody hell.
Yes,
oh,
yes.
crikey.
Oh, sure.
And so if we go to another couple of rounds of questions, so is it Rob from Shelley Beach? There we go. So if we go back to Ali here, so maybe what's the one significant thing that I don't know, just really change your perspective of the whole music industry? You sort of touched on this story before, but when you're talking about when you're working with BB King, which is just a phenomenal story. But is there another story of the same? It might be a sad story, it might be a good story, but just like one that's just changed your perspective of everything. It makes you want to make the art.
That's a big question. Well, it's sort of funny. I've paved a career out in Australia, and I've done that for a really good reason, because I actually
Right.
find it really, really hard in my own country to get any
Yeah.
recognition at all
Wow.
Same.
for what I've done.
Same.
I've put out 3 albums. From those 3 albums, I've had 7 #1 airplay hits on the Australian airplay chart. This
How
last
many?
album, 7.
Seven
Yeah.
#1 hits.
Yeah.
What are they? What are
this-
they? We want to know.
Like Red Dirt Road Trip from this album, that went to #1 on the Australian country charts.
Wow.
Both albums, all 3 albums have been on the official New Zealand album charts, and with
Well
the
done.
latest, I actually
Well
got
done.
on the ARIA charts. So I
Wow.
actually entered the ARIA charts this year.
How
last
cool is
year.
that?
Yeah, well, it's you work hard and you get there, but like I've been unable to get any nominations at all in New Zealand, despite being in the ARIA charts in Australia. Despite
crazy.
being on the New
Crazy,
Zealand album
crazy.
charts, despite it's just
We'll do our own awards,
yeah,
Ellie.
it's not that
Make
I
up our
actually
own.
want. I don't want the recognition, because when I get to work with people like Buzz Bidstrup, I don't care, because that's
Yeah, that's
all the
AC/DC.
recognition
Yeah,
I
wow.
actually, that's all the recognition I need. It's the people that are
Excellent.
willing to work with me. That says, okay, if I was crap, they wouldn't work with me. So
Right.
that's all I need to know, is that I'm not crap. So it's kind of like.
If you're raising $20,000, you're not crap.
But I can't get any recognition in my own country. It's
No,
just
crazy.
it's like crazy. I can't get on a commercial station, yet I've been on with Alan Jones
That's
Wow.
twice across Australia on the biggest breakfast show ever. That's hard
Yeah.
to get on, and I've
Yeah.
been on ABC with Simon Marnie, and I've had some really big commercial kind of opportunities in Australia, and that's why I travel there all the time.
That's
That's
right.
why I go back 4 or 5 times a year, because, and I honestly think, and this is what I have learned, and you might not think this in Australia, but Australia loves an underdog, and that's the difference.
Right.
In New Zealand, if you raise your head up when you're not supposed to, they're going to cut it off.
Well, tall poppy syndrome's alive and well over here too. So
And it is, but
Yep.
there's a sort of part of your society where it's
There's a
good on you,
click.
mate. Good
There's
on you,
clicks.
mate. Good on
Yeah,
you.
There's
yeah.
clicks.
You
Yeah.
know, there's that. We don't have that, and it's
No.
kind of like almost. It's a thing that comes with, like national pride, like
Yep.
as a publicist. When it comes to Anzac Day, I've always got artists that are putting Anzac songs out. In Australia, it's standard edition. Everyone in the country music industry has an Anzac song. In New
Yep.
Zealand, I've ended up getting Australian artists' Anzac
Wow.
songs on, because there's not that same sort of patriotism kind of thing. Whereas
Comradeship.
Aussies kind of loved that Aussie rock period, and they had a period where, that time when Buzz and Sharon O'Neill and people like that were really happening.
Yeah.
It was like real pride, and
Yeah.
Ellie,
that
can I ask you a question?
doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Yeah,
May I ask you a question, Ellie?
yeah,
Would you? Well, it's kind of a question. Would you agree, or do you have an opinion on the fact that we are very fragmented here in New Zealand? I feel that's my experience. I don't. I mean, I do get some support, like you. I get support with friends and certain circles.
yeah,
But the reality is, like you, I have not. I'm equally as up there as far as I'm concerned. We're all equally as good a songwriter and performing artists, and we produce really high quality music videos. But we do not get a look in. Now, I've done my battles with New Zealand On Air, etc., and if you're not in with certain groups, you never get in. And they it's not so much a blacklist, but they definitely keep you on the outside, and they don't want you in because, like for me, for argument's sake, I don't crowdfund, not because I don't want to. I do get sponsors, which is great at my age, but I self fund and I promote self fund, and because we all have to work, we work hard for our crafts, we work hard. We
yeah,
pay. I like paying producers and people their worth. So I save and I pay people to do a job that I don't want to learn how to do because I want to work on my craft and work on creating. But I agree with you. But would you agree, or would you have an opinion on the fact that we are very fragmented here in New Zealand, where
yeah.
and we're not embraced by the very people that could help us get where we want to go. They actually close the door in our face a lot, and I'm
So
not saying, and it happens a
Well,
lot. So it does
you
happen a
know
lot.
what I feel about that, and I say that to kids that are new, that go, that face kind of that knocking machine thing, and I say
Right.
what I do is every time they turn me down for anything, I just go like this. Because if I
Sorry,
was,
is that a
if
New
I
Zealand
was-
gesture? Is it? Or is it?
Yeah, mate. I'll pat
Oh,
myself
it's a-
on the back
Oh, right. Okay.
because
I
Yeah,
thought it was a
pat
bit more
yourself
full
on
on
the
than that.
back,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. I was like,
If
what
I
the hell
was-
is that? Okay.
yeah, because if I
It's the
was
journey, yeah.
crap,
Yeah.
if I was crap, they wouldn't be doing that to me. And I say
You
that
got
to
it.
kids. If you
You've got
couldn't
it.
sing like you can sing, this wouldn't happen to you.
You've got
so
it.
every time I just go, let it be the wind that fills my sails. Next time, next album, I will push it further up the ARIA charts, and I will make
Right.
you look like bigger idiots. You
Yeah.
know, because
Yeah.
they're not going to stop me. They're not going to
Yeah.
stop me building the people around me. So
Yeah.
it's sort of like, it's just sad that I'm a New Zealander and I'm barely known in my own country. Whereas
Well,
more
I can do
people
something
know me
for
in
you. I
Australia
can't
than
give
that.
you a golden guitar, but what I can give you is a broken ceramic guitar handle.
Oh, hey. Oh my gosh,
Lucky.
I could make a joke
Send it
about
over.
that, but but I probably shouldn't. That's a bit of a bent thing you've got there.
Well, it was.
But anyway,
I actually got given a new coffee mug today by a little guy called Jake, which I'll do some photos with, and you guys will know who he is soon. But
Oh,
but
you
that
should have
that's
the
all.
Bent Guitar Award, mate. The Bent Guitar Awards.
Well, you need to see how I play guitar, then you'll probably agree.
Nobody wants that award, do they?
No, you
My
gotta-
guitar's bent.
no
How about
matter-
yours?
But the point being, what I have learned is
Right.
from the incredible knockbacks, and I've
Yeah.
had quite a few, is that I never let them stop me. I let them be the wind that fills my sails. I let them be the thing that drives me forward and drives me forward in a positive way rather than going to them. It's kind of like more like, thank you, I'm going to work twice as hard now.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, so-
Okay. It feels it.
Yeah.
That's a. I like. So that's a good question. We should just quickly go around doing that one. So I like. So maybe Karen. So when you get a knockback, similar to Ali, do you have a little ritual, or how do you set your mind reset your mindset?
Well, as a songwriter,
Yeah.
for many years in my early years of songwriting, I would lose my confidence, and that's the honest truth. There's lots of songwriters out there that get knocked down enough, then they will go, well, maybe I'm just not good enough. But I have just carried on in my own little world, and,
Yep.
and done a few pretty good things since. But when I did my album with Revolver Recording Studios in Auckland, I went to every single radio station that was around, and that's before MediaWorks took over. And I know Ellie is shaking her head because she knows exactly what I'm going to say. And I got told, well, who are you? And I'm going, well, I'm Karen Davey, and I've got this album here. And they'd say, yeah, well, if you get a hit in the US, we'll play your song all day. And then other times it's been, well, like LA's had people, and I've had people saying, well, we're not going to take Sure off the playlist to put you on because we don't know who you are. You're just nobody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we just find other little niches, and this is why I say when we're always reinventing ourselves, just like you don't give up. Don't give up on your songwriting, and every now and then, like if I'm writing, like I can write a song in 20 minutes sometimes, but then sometimes it takes 2 years because I'll write the lyrics and
Yeah.
and if I don't have the music, I'll put the song down for a couple of years and pick it up again, and then I'll type it out on the computer, and I'll go, well, that line doesn't actually even fit in that song. So then I'll come up with something to get your creative juices going and come up with another line for that. But sometimes you've written a really good song, and and you just got to reinvent yourself, get it out there, and that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah, I like what you're saying then, because
Doug,
you can't. Yeah. Sorry, just 1 sec. Is
Doug,
I
quick
like what.
question.
Yeah. 1 second.
I've got to go. My phone is heating up. I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to go for
You want
a
to get the
moment. Forgive
barbecue
me.
out?
I'll
Okay.
yeah,
Yep.
I'll see you all in about 2 minutes. I'm going to let it cool off for a second. It's like overheating. I can feel the back of it. So yeah, I'm in the hot seat. Okay,
It's
you
a
knew that at the beginning of the
menopausal
show. So
phone.
I'll see you in a minute. All right. Boom.
Oh my God.
I'm going to say something then about reinventing.
Hello. Cool. Yes. Cool. Thanks, Jenny. Hey, Chris. Hey, Chris. Chris, how you going, man? So you probably all know Chris.
Exactly. Woo!
So I actually met Chris in California. Actually, we were rocking out with Mr. Steve Vai. Actually, so
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
neat.
so you may as well check my album out. This is actually mastered by Mr. Steve Vai's producer, Mr. Greg Worth. So it's on Spotify. I mean, may as well name drop while we're here. So that's an instrumental record. It's about the 5 stages of the grief. So it's a very, very deep and dark experience. So if you've gone through something like that, that's what it's about. Anyway, getting back to the question. So up to Karen. How do you convert a knockback?
Well, that's actually a really good question. I write a song about it. That's all I do.
Oh,
So
well done.
Yeah.
when I was feeling really, I started second guessing everything I wrote. Everything I wrote, and so I wrote a song called Second Guessing. And one of the lyrics in the last song was basically, it says, going to pick up my phone, my friend, my guitar, and play out all these songs that I wrote, because I'm better than this and I'm better than that. Just you wait and see. And that's all I do. I write something to take away anything that I'm feeling, any angst.
That's
Isn't
great.
it fabulous? Isn't it a
Yeah.
gift that we've got that with emotion?
I know. It's the best thing we have got, because, most of the time you are doubting until someone says, I really like what you wrote, and you go, really?
Wow.
So I have now stopped, and I write for me, and if you guys like it, well, that's great.
I think that's a good
Yeah,
question,
that's great.
Karen, that you said. So maybe hands up if everyone's actually written a song to process emotion.
Yeah.
Oh,
Everyone?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
cool. We've got 2 hands up.
Oh, yeah.
I really like that, Karen. So, but what kind of knockbacks would you have got? Is it just about your art, or about the performance, or is it about how you feel insecure about your thing, or your?
It's both. It's personal. It's we did talk about tall poppy syndrome.
Tall puppy
I've got
syndrome.
Tall
Must be
poppy
New
syndrome.
Zealand. Tall puppy
No,
syndrome. Sorry.
it's true. I've got a friend that actually came from New Zealand to Australia to live because she was getting bullied here,
Wow.
and yeah, big time. And so she left New Zealand, and she's an advocate for looking after people that have been bullied and feeling like they can't put their poppies up and be who they want to be. And it's really interesting to meet someone that's like that. You know, you feel like you're part of a crusade, and you have everyone's back.
Yeah.
And I
like
guess
what you
that's
said.
yeah.
I
I guess when it comes,
Yeah, no. I'm just saying it's great. I like your sensibility of how to convert that emotion into art, and how to look wider. I like that. So maybe Charlotte, how do you convert a knockback into art?
To be honest, I think when you get into a job like this, it's all par for the course. You've got to have a thick skin to even consider this job, because you're up against it all the time, and you're your own worst critic as well. So you're always striving for perfection. And you're never going to get to perfection. So you've just got to do it for yourself, because you'll never be able to please everybody. So if you're not doing it for yourself, then you might as well stop, because, not 100% people are going to like you. It's never going to happen. So you're always going to have some person that's going to be like, oh my God, she's terrible. I can't stand her voice. You've just got to absorb it and hope it makes you stronger, I think, and write about it and make those emotions your art. And I think Karen was talking a lot of sense, and the fact it's par for the course. And I went into the New Zealand X Factor, and I didn't even really, I don't follow those sort of shows, but it was the auditions were right around the corner from my house, so I thought, well, what have I got to lose? I've got the day off, I might as well wander up the street and have a go. And so, but then when they rejected me, it was quite a big blow. I was in Vector Arena. I was singing to 2,000 people. They were all really loving it.
Wow.
The crowd coming back at me was brilliant, and the four dimwits in the judges' chairs were just like, get out.
Good on you.
Who was the judges?
I can't even remember their names. One of them was called Willie Moon.
They got hanged.
Yes, they were all about the bullying, and just it wasn't about music, it was about
those
television.
Two judges
and what
got
sells.
fired. They got fired.
Yes,
from
the judges that kicked me out eventually got kicked out of the country. So
if you want some real satisfaction, go to Willie Moon's video and look at the top 300 comments. Hate comments. People hate those two. She had to change her branding and change her name.
Yeah, they were just jokers. They were in it for the money, and it just made the whole experience. It was just so unoriginal, and it was the opposite of what I want my music to be a part of. Originality and genuinity, if that's a word. You know what I mean?
It must be from Wales.
Genuinity. Let's make it a word. We'll put in the
Genuinity. Yes.
So it's funny you say. I got a point there about X Factor. I've actually never said this out loud. Actually,
you love it.
I actually auditioned for X Factor, and a lot of my muso mates are going to hate me for saying this, but. So when I auditioned for X Factor, I got through to the third round. I didn't really understand, because I was gigging. I didn't go to bed the Friday night and rocked up Saturday morning at the hotel. And there was like only a gazillion people lined up, like it was like, seemed like a short line at, 5,000 kilometers long. However, so went round, did the first audition, and it was actually quite interesting being a music teacher. I mean, they don't know who I am. Like, why would they really care? But it was interesting seeing what they were assessing. So the first thing they were assessing is that, can you hold a pitch without a rhythmic or a harmonic accompaniment? And I was like, okay, cool, got that. And then I had my guitar, so I sang a song, and they said, oh yeah, cool. And then I did this bluesy thing. Anyway, I got through. I was like, "Are you serious?" They said, "Yeah, cool. You either step right to go to the next round, or you step left to say thanks for coming." So anyway, I got through. Long story short, I got through to the third round. But the funny thing is one of my year 11 students he got through to the third round as well. And it's the very first time. If they were onto it, it could have been the best marketing ploy ever. Like, what's the chances? Like, seriously, what's the chances of having one music teacher and a year 11 student at this thing? Because I didn't know.
Same show.
I didn't think, the same show, go through the first round and go head to head. And that's just where I sort of got a little bit, miffed by it, because it wasn't a talent quest. It was a casting call. Because they already had another old rocker dude,
Yeah.
Because I thought I was going in there for guitar playing, not
Can
singing.
I tell you something about that all?
Yes,
I tell you
please.
something about that all?
Yeah.
Well, I've been in a couple of television things before those Idol things, and they're all about good television. That's what they're
Right.
about. First.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nothing to
They-
do with the
so-
music.
So
It's now an hour and a
basically,
half, Doug.
They often know who's actually going to win it, and I won't go
Yeah.
into
Gotta go.
the story that tells that, but they need buzz fodder, right? So
Right.
we'll tell you one story of someone I knew who went in. He went in, he auditioned, he got flown to Wellington, he went in the auditions, he did his song in front of the thousands of people, and he did that fine, and at the end there was a guy from UB40 that was one of the judges, and they said, "Oh, can you sing a UB40 song?" So he sort of went, "Red, red wine," and sung it, and Ali, the guy from UB40, went, "Buzz," and they all went, "Ha ha." Right, okay. When it got to the screen, that was all you saw of him,
Yeah.
was red, red wine, Buzz. He was devastated. They'd taken him over because they need 5 or 6 of those. Oh,
Right.
auditions were really bad today. We had someone try to sing you. So like they need buzz bait. They need people that they need
Buzzbait. I
sob
like that.
story,
Yeah.
buzz bait. People
Yeah.
they just,
Yeah, they need a
they
good
let them
backstory to
through,
sell
but
to sell
you're
to
never
people.
You're never going to see the whole audition they did. You're going to see the 10 seconds of buzz bait they want them for, and then you've got the sad story. There's always the sad story, and like you said, there was already an old rocker, so they didn't need
Yeah.
another one. Like
Yeah.
they put it together.
Right. That's what I said. It was a casting call, But it's
Television
still,
roles
Yeah.
to fill, isn't it?
I mean, but I'm not
It's-
knocking it as I get it. I mean, it gives lots of people lots of jobs. I mean, it's
Yeah.
great for industry creating. Gives people something to do.
It's risky, but he was like a really successful musician that fills houses doing that cover type thing, like what you
Yeah,
do
right.
with Fleetwood Mac, but he does it with Bee Gees and various things.
Tribute
And
show.
so that actually made him look really bad on national television, which is why he was gutted, because his actual audition would have been amazing, I'm sure, but nobody got to
Right.
see it. So it's actually
Yeah.
what I say to people when they want to go on that show: if you are an established musician, you need to weigh that up for what it is, because it can make you look really bad, or it
Yep.
can make you look really good, and it can increase your numbers. So you've sort of got to weigh it up.
Oh, I don't think
Right,
it hurt me, but it didn't really
No.
do anything for me either. So I was sort of plateauing. I plateaued. It's fine.
It was an experience, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really glad I did it now because it's a great story to tell people. My
Yeah,
friends
that's
are
awesome.
still absolutely mad that I didn't get it through, but
But
I've let it go. I'm all right.
It can be damaging. It can be damaging. and
Yeah,
I've seen it be
absolutely.
damaging to
But
people.
again, you don't get into this business
Yeah.
without a thick skin. You have to realize that not everyone's going to like you, and you've got to
Well,
deal
that's
with that.
not our business. That's actually just television production.
Yes, that's.
So it's kind of like, yeah.
Wow.
they've
That's
already
awesome.
Worked out what they're doing. Yeah.
So we might I've just noticed the time, so I might just wrap it up.
Yeah, I have
last
to go soon.
last question. So if you need to go first, if you want to answer first, then we'll just do a reverse order. Then Charlotte, is what's one passing piece of advice you want to give to young emerging artists that you would maybe maybe be, you know what would you tell your younger version of yourself what you would do?
Have more confidence in yourself and listen to the people around you that love you. And if they say you can really sing, believe them. I think that's the main. You've really got to trust what other people are telling you and not be so self-critical. And nobody's perfect, so you just do your best. And if that is good for some people, then keep doing it.
Yep.
That's my
Cool.
advice.
And Karen, what would you tell your younger self?
Self-belief all the way. You know, if you've got it, do it. Just get out there and share. And we're all butterflies emerging, so it is all self-belief. It's just, you know, because we've all been scared. Just take a deep breath and do it.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, and Karen, what would you tell your younger self?
Ooh, lots of things actually, lots of things. But I think the main thing is I would tell myself to get my songs out there a lot earlier and go to all the recording studios and you know, just really put my stuff out there and my name. That's what I tell my younger self because I think it's important.
Okay. Yep. And we just got a message from LA Thompson there. She said, sorry, I had to bail as my hotspot on my phone was overheated.
I can't risk
The
blowing up
irony.
this.
The hotspot was hot. Like, what is going on?
that.
I can't risk blowing up this phone. Do they have like self-exploding phones in New Zealand?
No, Doug.
What's going on?
Only LA has a self-exploding.
All right, okay. Oh my God. There's LA doing their thing. Cool. And so, and Ali, what would you tell your younger self?
Well, I would have probably busted my move a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And not, but I was earning good money touring the world, so it was kind of like, timing is everything. As far as advice to artists, just always be true to yourself. Every time you step on that stage, just get inside the song and truly believe what you're delivering. Truly get inside it. Don't just sing the words in the song, but truly believe the song you're delivering.
Okay.
Always deliver with everything you've got of your soul, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Very good. Well, I want to say thank you to all staying and actually sharing all your wonderful knowledge. But please stay on the line if we all just wave out. There we go. And I'll just talk to you all backstage in a second. So thank you all.
Bye, guys.
So
Thanks,
you.
ladies. Cheers, Doug.
there we go. Yeah. Thank
See
you.
ya.
Please stay on the line for a second. So here we go.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you very much for everyone who's watching, and please like and subscribe. All the artists have been on the show tonight. I'm sure they will comment all through the feed. Make sure you go to their pages and buy their stuff. There's some awesome stories. Rewatch this from the beginning. Amazing stories. I've written down some stuff too. I had to get a new pen because I had to get a new cup. But I'll tell you about that story again next time. So please like and share and subscribe. Oh, I should do this while I'm here. I keep forgetting to do this. I need some YouTube friends. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Have a good night. Oop.